Hello, Blackhawks Nation. Welcome to the Blackhawks Daily, your favorite recap of the daily buzz around your Chicago Blackhawks. I'm your host, PJ. Thank you for supporting us, thank you for supporting all of us in uplifting and supporting the Hawks as they head right into their centennial season. Lots to cover. We normally do our top 4 topics of the day, but this is the first episode that we're doing after an actual game. So, since it's the first preseason game, it gives us some good stuff to work with. What I'd like to do is ensure that you get the most out of our time together on this channel. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do 3 things. I'm going to give you a recap, and then we'll talk about 3 studs and duds for the game. We'll talk about 3 missed opportunities or areas to improve and 1 bright spot. And then, of course, our feedback from you guys. But let me know if this works for you. Let me know if you like this, if you like something different. I want this season to be what we all need together as we collectively cheer these guys on. So let me know your thoughts, but let's give this a shot. We're going to give this a shot today, and then you guys can let me know. All right, so let's get started. So last night, as we alluded to, the Blackhawks dropped, well, actually, I didn't tell you this. We lost last night. So that absolutely sucks. The Blackhawks dropped their preseason opener 3-2 to the Red Wings in Detroit. It was a gritty, pretty testy game full of highs and lows and a lot to unpack. So let's dive in there. All right, so here's some key facts. The score, final score, Red Wings 3, Blackhawks 2. Venue, they played out in Detroit at the Little Caesars Arena. Here's where it gets kind of ugly. Detroit heavily outshot Chicago, 43-17. It's really hard to score when you don't shoot. So obviously, that is something that needs to be improved. Detroit scored. They had Carter Mazur. He had a power play goal. Nate Danielson had a deflection. And Emmett Finney had a game winner. Our goals came from Bedard on power play and a beautiful shot, a little top shelf shot by Wyatt Kaiser on even strength. Goaltending, they had Sebastian Cossa, who played all 3 periods for Detroit. And our man, Arvid Soderblom, made, he was busy. Oh boy. He stopped, 40 of 43 shots. So pretty good. So here's how the game unfolded. First period, Detroit struck first after a power play opportunity. Emmett Finney and John Leonard worked it well. Finney's no-look dish to Mazur in the front created the opening goal. Chicago showed early energy. In fact, I think the first 10 minutes of the first period were awesome. Really high energy. Everyone was flying. That was great. But the special teams opportunity was pretty costly, obviously. Second period, we tied it early. Bedard blasted a one-timer from the top of the circle with a little help from our pal Sam Renzel. The chemistry between those two is going to be one of the positive notes from this game. But Detroit responded pretty much right away. Nate Danielson deflected a shot from distance that beat Soderblom, put Detroit back in front. From there, Detroit began to control the rest of that period. Third period, more stifling, of course. We did show some signs of life. Wyatt Kaiser tied it around the 6:26 mark with a well-placed shot through traffic. They moved it up beautifully. Him and Levshinov worked really well to get Wyatt up there. But Detroit then answered again, right? Finney got the rebound, buried it with about 7:22 left in the period for a go-ahead goal. We pressed late, but couldn't get one past Cossa. So, standouts and struggles. So the standouts that we had in the game, Arvid Soderblom did a great job, right? Despite the loss, he kept the game from being a blowout. He made a number of high-pressure, really, really nice saves. Connor Bedard, his power play goal was a flash from the upside that he brings. He also created chances and created to show that in special teams, he's obviously a weapon for us. So he played really well. I think his speed showed a lot, the speed that he'd been working on. He seemed like he had another gear last night, which was awesome. And he did really well on the dot, which we'll talk about a little bit more. Wyatt Kaiser got a goal in a big moment, right? And that's what you need. You need people to step up when it counts. Guys like him earning those plays help build trust. So, where we struggled, shot volume, obviously, and possession. Being outshot 43-17 is brutal. It tells us that in transition on 5-5s, Detroit had Chicago hemmed in pretty much most of the game. Defensive breakdowns, unfortunately. We had just a bunch of kids out there, right? The power play goal and the deflection both involved Chicago's defense getting squeezed or being caught in poor positioning. We also showed a lack of depth in attack. Outside of the 2 goals, the rest of Chicago's shot attempts were pretty few and far between. The forwards really struggled to get through the D. And then there's an inconsistency, right? The early stretches were decent, but then Chicago faded as the game wore on. We're getting tired. We're showing to be more sluggish. Detroit's pressure and puck pursuit paid off for them. So, Detroit dominated possession and chances. You can't win if you give up that kind of territory. Chicago must tighten up in the defensive zones. Special teams proved that they actually matter, as always. Chicago power play got 1, but also gave up 1. Not great. The penalty kill just needs to be rehearsed more. Young players are getting chances, right? So this is a very youthful lineup. It's good that Bedard and Kaiser, Renzel, Levshunov, and others were being tested early. That's all great. The goaltender battle will matter. Soderblom showed he can hold his own under fire. I mean, he had no choice. But he'll need more consistency, and Knight's performances will factor in on that. And one thing to really think about is this was early. It's our first preseason game, right? So preseason results don't define the season, but patterns like defensive lapses, depth issues, and execution under fatigue, those are worth noting and keeping an eye on. So that's how last night went. Yeah, a loss, of course, right? But full of lessons, flashes of promise, and plenty to correct moving forward. The preseason path is long, but nights like this help identify where we need to improve. So let me know in the comments who impressed you the most last night and who needs to bounce back in the next one. Always good to hear your guys' comments. Guys and gals, ladies and germs, right? Moving on from there, let's talk about our studs and our duds. So, of course, we are taking account of this preseason. We're not out here making grand declarations of who's going to be in the Hall of Fame or being sent down back to Rockford just yet. But even in a game that didn't mean anything in the standings, we saw a few guys making some statements and a few others that left more questions than answers. So let's break down the 3 studs and 3 duds from last night. Stud number 1, Arvid Soderblom. He was basically under siege, right? Detroit threw 43 shots his way, and he still finished the night with 40 saves. If not for Soderblom, this would have been a very different scoreboard. A 3-2 game looks great on paper, but Detroit dominated us for most of the game. This easily could have been way, way worse. Chicago Hockey Now flat out said that he was the only reason that this game stayed close. That's a major confidence boost for a goalie who's trying to prove that he belongs in a 1A, 1B role with Spencer Knight this season. So that was a solid first statement. Stud number 2, Connor Bedard. He didn't take over the game, but let's not downplay what he did do. He scored a power play goal on a beautiful one-timer from Sam Renzel. He won 7 out of 10 faceoffs. 70%. That's awesome. And generally looked like he had another gear when no one else on the ice could match. So, beautiful, right? He didn't need to be flashy, but he just made the plays when they were there. That's what elite players do. So, even in tune-up games, they still do that. So he showed really, really well. Stud number 3, Sam Renzel. This guy's going to be great this year. He led the team in ice time, made smart decisions throughout the night. That assist to Bedard, it was a cross-seam bullet, hit the tape perfectly. He looked poised, physical when needed, and showed why he's quickly climbing the depth chart. Renzel was the Hawks' most reliable blue liner in this one, and that's saying something, considering how chaotic the rest of the D-corps looked, unfortunately. Duds. Number 1, a guy that I've been rooting for ever since this channel turned its lights on, Lukas Reichel. Personally, this one stings, right? Reichel got prime real estate. He was top line minutes right next to Bedard and came up small. He had 1 shot on goal. That's it, right? So the camp is already shaping up to be a prove-it situation for Reichel. This did not help. If he wants to be more than a fringe middle 6 forward, he's got all that talent. He's just going to need to build his confidence and find his confidence really, really fast. So I hope that he does. Dud number 2, Kevin Korchinski. He didn't make a lot of mistakes, but he didn't really make huge impact either. And right now, in a camp that is this competitive, fine is not going to cut it, right? When especially men, when we're talking to our wives and we're talking to our girlfriends and we ask how things are going, and when they say fine, not great. So him playing fine, he needs to do a little bit better. He's got the talent, no doubt. He's also got guys like Renzel and Del Mastro breathing down his neck. So if he wants to stick with the big club this season, he's going to need to take control of the game soon and not just be along for the ride, right? He's got all the pedigree. He just needs to put it all together. He's young still, though, right? I think he's 19. So, all right, we'll see. Dud number 3, not really a dud, but Artem Levshunov. We're not burying the number 2 overall pick after one preseason game, but Levshunov was inconsistent on this one. He's kind of up and down, right? He was late on a couple of reads, got caught out of position on a Detroit goal, just didn't have that controlled chaos dialed in the way we've seen him do it before. He's got elite tools. No one's questioning that. It's a reminder, though, that he's young and he's raw, and he's not quite the finished product yet. The Hawks are going to need to be smart on how they bring him along. So, all in all, it's a typical first preseason game. Lots of flashes of brilliance, some nerves, and a lot of rust to shake off. But if you're Blashill and KD, there's already some separation starting to form between the guys pushing for NHL spots and the ones who just need a little more seasoning and time. Renzel and Soderblom absolutely helped their stock. Bedard was Bedard. I mean, he was great, right? Reichel, Korchinski, and Levshunov, still plenty of time, but that clock definitely is running. Let me know in the comments who your studs and duds were from game 1 or from this first preseason game. Did someone impress you that I didn't mention? Or are you starting to get concerned about one of the young guys? Drop your takes below. Let me know your thoughts. It's, as always, really, really good. And then, so let's talk about 3 negatives and a positive, right? Chicago dropped, obviously, its first opener. And on paper, we know it's not a big deal. It's preseason. And what we're supposed to be doing is testing systems and evaluating prospects, finding chemistry. But make no mistake, every game is a chance, especially publicly, to make a statement, and not everyone delivered. So let's break down 3 key missed opportunities for the game and finish with one bright spot that the Hawks can feel good about moving forward. So missed opportunity number 1, Lucas Reichel's audition with Bedard, right? We mentioned this. Reichel started right next to Bedard, like, hello. That's a premium opportunity, top line minutes, offensive zone looks, and a real chance to lock in chemistry heading into camp. But instead of grabbing hold of that one goal is just not going to cut it. He didn't generate much offense, and at times he looked passive and like he was still unsure of how to assert himself. And that sucks because I've mentioned this before. I was in Berlin 2019. I saw him on the ice baron playing against the Hawks, and he was ripping it. Right, his game had a joie de vivre and a freedom that was awesome to watch. That is not what we're seeing now, and I really hope he can just get his mind right, get him back to playing with some fun and just playing with some confidence. Because the kid's got tools, he really does. His window to prove that he's a part of this core is open, but man, it's shrinking. This was a night he needed to show he belongs up there with Bedard, and he didn't. First game, I hope he gets more opportunities through training camp and through preseason. He's got all the talent. I just really hope he locks it in. Missed opportunity number 2, the second power play unit. So we all know that Bedard is going to anchor the first unit. But preseason is the chance for players like Korchinski and Nazar and others to show that they can quarterback the second unit and provide a spark. That didn't happen against Detroit. The Hawks went 1 for 5 on a power play, and most of that success came from the top group. The second unit just kind of lacked rhythm. They didn't create many quality chances. Overall, looked disjointed. This is a missed opportunity for guys who are trying to prove they can contribute with the man advantage, and that could matter later on when cuts start rolling in. And missed opportunity number 3, a stronger impression with Levshunov. So let's be clear. This isn't about overreacting on one game. Artem Levshunov, he's 19, right? With massive upside. He's going to be fine. Like he's got the tools. But he had a rough night on this one. He was late on reads. He was out of position, right? He totally got caught with his pants down on that Detroit goal and never really looked comfortable. Was he trying to do too much? Maybe. But in a crowded blue line battle, these games matter. And this one likely nudged him closer to Rockford for the start of the season. That's not what you want. And the bright spot, Soderblom, right? Obviously. So we're finishing on a positive. He really raised his stock. He stopped 40 of 43 shots. He was the reason this game stayed close. Detroit had extended stretches of pressure, and Soderblom stood tall, especially in the second period when things really could have gotten ugly. It was exactly the kind of performance the Blackhawks wanted to see from a goalie who is fighting for that 1B, right, to Spencer Knight's 1A. So, honestly, after watching that game, Soderblom already looks like a guy. He's ready to take the next step. So that's good. But look, it's one preseason game. No one's winning a roster spot or getting cut based on this one sample. But for a few players, Reichel, Levshunov, and that second power play unit, this was a missed opportunity to seize and generate some early momentum. So, and then of course, Soderblom, he showed up early. It's a kind of tone setter you'd love to see early in camp. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Who impressed you? Who still has work to do? And speaking of those wonderful comments, let's get to them. We got two today. Repeat offender, Lester 7L1. PJ, enjoy our videos. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. Keep up the great job. Again, thank you very much. I will watch more preseason games before I comment on the preseason. Bedard and Soderblom look great. I do hope that we do not have to hear shoot the puck chants from the fans this season. I really hope too. I really hope we don't have to say that. 17 shots, I'm going to be screaming it. I will be screaming it if they don't let the puck go, right? Excuse my French. Lester says, I attended elementary and high school near the Chicago Stadium. Many of the players would visit the schools throughout the year. Blackhawks and Bulls players, Bobby Hall, Stan Mikita, Tony Esposito, many others, right? Nice, cool guys they all were. I had a late great-nephew who worked at Chicago Stadium the last 2 years before it closed. Lots of great pictures, stories, and autograph items from the players. He loved it. PJ looking forward to the season. P.S. The name is Lester. The nickname is The Commander. All right, Mr. Commander. There you go. Thank you for your contribution. As always, sir. Always love having you piping in on the channel. And another repeat offender, whom we also love, Ernest Eason, 7979. He says, I just want future stars to look like future stars this season. Honestly, not a big ask. Last night, Bedard looked improved against Detroit's B team. Soderblom was the Hawks' best player. Unfortunately, you don't want the backup goalie to your team. You don't want the backup goalie to be your team's best player. Really good point. Super good point, Ernest. The rest, Blashill might be a good one-on-one and assistant head coach. But as a head coach, last night is why the Wings dumped him. I hope the Hawks don't wait 7 years to figure it out. All right, Ernest. I still have hopes for Blashill. I think he's going to do okay. I really do. I think he's doing it right. Davidson, both of those guys, I'm giving them a lot of rope because I like what I see so far. I like Blashill trying to set the tone. It's going to take a while, right? Even on, he was talking about special teams. He's trying to instill what he instilled in Tampa Bay here, and it just takes a time. It takes a while for the players to accept that type of style and to really push it well. So that is something, but we'll see how the season goes. Thank you very much, Ernest. Really appreciate it. And that's a wrap for today, folks. If you're new here, please remember to like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. If you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support and also for sharing to your friends and colleagues and family members about the channel. For all my repeat offenders in the comment sections, please keep them coming. Love building this community with you. I really do. Thank you for checking out the Blackhawks Daily Download. Every weekday as we celebrate this original six team, the best team in hockey, the best fans in all of sports, in the best city in the world. I really appreciate it. I'm PJ, and I'll see you next time on the Blackhawks Daily.